Hi, welcome back to my channel La Fraise. I'm Noémie, I'm a student in costume making here in Brussels, and this week, that's it. That's the big final of my free t-shirt face-off. I decided not to wear a t-shirt to not give unfair advantage to any brand, so I decided to cut to the chase and to go back to a good old Elisa blouse from Fiber Mood, so that's what I'm wearing today. I have sewn 17 tops in order to do this study, so I'm taking this very seriously. I will just mention that in the t-shirt realm, if you want a tutorial on how to add a clear elastic in your shoulders, I have a tutorial for that, and I have also a tutorial on how I finish my neckband and my favorite way to finish a neckband for a clean t-shirt. So if you want tutorials for those, you will find them in the playlist that's all about the t-shirt. You can also find in this playlist all the other videos if you want to find any extra information about any of the t-shirts that I'm going to mention now. We're going to try to go quite quick because I've already talked so much about them. So if you want any extra info, go in the video that mentioned that t-shirt and you can hear all of the goss about that t-shirt. And finally, I have one more video coming in this t-shirt video series, and that video is everything I've learned sewing 17 t-shirts and kind of all of my tips and tricks for sewing the perfect t-shirts. So without further ado, let's get started. And actually I want to start with the point that was going to be my main thesis in this video, but what I found really interesting is that actually many of you mentioned this in the comments already, and it's that the best t-shirt pattern is not free. And I totally agree with that. Everyone in the comment had different favorites in the paid options. My personal favorite is the Jackson Tee by Helen's Closet. It's a paid pattern, and the argument that people had in the comments, which I really agree with, is that designers probably just spent more time on a paid pattern. The Jackson Tee I love to bits. I have made 3, I believe, and I could keep making it over and over again. I don't have a single thing I would fault into this pattern. Like, for me, it's perfection. And what I particularly like about it is that you can size it up and down to achieve different looks. And every model can't be sized up and down to achieve the look you want, depending on how the ease is placed and how the pattern is drafted. You could just end up with something wrong when this one has been planned to be sized up or sized down and still fit you, and to just achieve different look depending on how you do that. So I particularly like this about the Jackson. I will still make tons of Jackson in the future. Not in the near future, because I first need to wear all of the collections I have here. And I'm going to start with the bottom tier. For me, those ones, it simply didn't work. I didn't like the final product, and I actually already unpicked them and recouped the fabric to remake into other things. I'm roughly going to put the t-shirts from least favorite to most favorite, but within the categories it's hard to say, do I like this one a little bit more or a little bit less than that one? I've tried to roughly do that, but the most important thing is which category it is in. And I just want to say, if your favorite free pattern is in my least favorite category, it's fine. We can like different things. I'm sharing my opinion. If you want to hear the detail of why I don't like something, you can always watch the video the t-shirt appears in. Ultimately, if it works for you, that's brilliant. That's all it needs to work for you. I'm telling you what worked and didn't work for me. The one that worked the least for me was the Uvita top. I was not a massive fan. I'm looking at the photo here to remind me of what I want to say. I was not a massive fan of the fit, but that would not have been a deal breaker for me. That would still have been fine to wear if the neckline had not been so ugly. Like, for me, that neckline, I was like, I can't go around town and people, like, go around my day and have people see me in this. They know I sew, they know I'm studying costume. I can't go to school wearing this. Like, I would just feel too ashamed to have something that looks so bad. To be fully honest, I was pretty hesitant to even put it on my Instagram without a big like disclaimer, oh, I'm trying this pattern for a thing, don't judge me, the neckline is so bad. Because I was like, what if one of my teachers sees this? It's just like, this is so bad. So maybe the fabric I had was not optimal. I saw that some people had more luck than me finishing this neckline. I just think that the neckline finishing is not really ideal. And from seeing on other people's Instagram photos of this t-shirt, it seems like many people have a similar issue than I have. I think it looks particularly bad on my fabric. Like I'm not saying that everyone has a t-shirt that's not wearable, but just for me, I did not feel comfortable wearing this, and I did not feel comfortable with this t-shirt. For me, that was a no-go. Second one in my not my favorite list is the Kirsten tee. Same thing with the neckline. So obviously this was my fault, but the pattern didn't include seam allowances, and I cut it as it was, and then I had to shrink it. It still fit quite fine, but yeah, for me again, it's a neckline. I find that a neckline I'm not happy with. It's too close to my face for me to ignore, so that did not work out for me. I think the fit of the t-shirt is fine. I also find it very annoying that the neckline piece is not in the pattern at all, so I didn't love that. And the last one, I feel like I'm really coming to attack a cult favorite, but it's the Mandy boat tee, and for me it's just the sleeves. The sleeves are so tight. I don't like tight sleeve, it's a personal preference, but I'm making the video for what I would remake or not remake, and this one I would definitely never remake, because too tight sleeves, I don't like that look, I don't like that feel, and I especially feel like having so tight sleeve and such a wide bodice creates an imbalance that doesn't work out for me. Again, I know that many people like it, that many people rock it, so if it works in your wardrobe and you like it, I'm sure you look great. It's just on me, I put it on and I was like, it's not going to work. I could straight away feel like it was not going to be the one. Sadly, it wasn't the one. It was also not my favorite instruction booklet with the photos, and the pattern pieces are a little bit difficult to use if you're using a projector, because the file isn't layered and it's all drawn by hand style, which can be a little bit more difficult to follow. So sadly, the Mandy also made it in my last category. We're moving on to the good category, and so those are the t-shirts that I'm pretty happy with. It's just they weren't amazing enough to make it into the last category, because everyone can't be the best. The first one I have in this category is the Anything But Basic tee, and I think it has potential. However, I did have issues with my shoulders in both fabrics I've used. One was really stretchy and one was very stiff. And I was like, I haven't had issues with my shoulders in any of the patterns I've made. And now the two t-shirts I've made following this pattern, the shoulders are like weirdly bumpy. Obviously, I'm happy to hear that I did something wrong, but I also think that it's a little bit suspicious. I also find that with this t-shirt, the drag lines I get from my neck to my shoulders is the strongest of all of the t-shirts I've made. What's good about this t-shirt is that you get many different neckline options, many different sleeve length options. For the length, it's giving you only one option, but it does show you where your hip would be and everything, and so it lets you cut it wherever you like. But it does mean that I did follow the pattern, because it was the rule I wanted to do for myself, to follow the pattern and make it as it was, and it was way too long, like really too long and impossible to wear for me. So one of the first thing I've done once I had finished this series was to chop the end of this t-shirt. The long one I've left it as is for now, but for the short sleeves ones I've chopped the end, and now that it's a little bit shorter, I feel a little bit more comfortable to potentially wear it. So it has potential, but for me it wasn't really standing out, and I'm not sure what's going on with the shoulders. So I'd say give it a try if it's a shape you like. Okay, so I realized that I gave as a critique for the previous pattern that it had bunching at the sleeve, and the pattern that's coming now has a ton of bunching, but it is oversized, and so it feels different, because for me bunching on something that's kind of fitted is a different ball game than bunching on something like that. Also, I never felt so much bunching when wearing the next t-shirt that you're going to see, so just wanted to say, because I saw the photo and I was like, wow, that's a lot of bunching. I don't know if it's a photo, I don't know, but like because of the oversize, it just feels different. So warning, because when I saw the next photo, I was like, well, that's a lot of bunching. The next one is the Stellan tee, and for this one I have to say I wear it a lot. I enjoy wearing it. It doesn't have a wow factor for me, but good basic, wore it a lot. I don't really have anything bad to say about the Stellan. It offers a back reinforcement option in the instructions. The instructions are really clear. There's lots of tips and options for a very professional finish. I wrote that I was very impressed. The drawings are clear and the sewing was a good experience. So for me, nothing bad to say about the Stellan, and again, if it's a shape you like, definitely go for it. This one I particularly enjoyed the instructions. Next up is the plantain from Deer and Doe. And the plantain, I have such a love-hate relation, I mean not love-hate is too strong, but such a love-meh relationship with it, because I have made quite a few when I was early on in my sewing journey and I was pretty happy with them. I have made them in turtlenecks version, like I have made a lot of plantain. However, I think that personally for me, I tend to avoid t-shirts that are coming up too close here in my armpit, because as I'm a sweaty person, everyone knows that by now, you smell more if your fabric touches directly your skin. You have to wash your clothes more often. So I do prefer a little bit of ease, you know, like here, a little bit of ease between my armpit and my clothing. So that's the first issue I have with the plantain, is that it really comes right up in your armpit and really holds your sleeves. So that's that. I personally always find the sleeves a little bit tight, and it makes me feel a bit like I'm like Hulk with massive arms, the way the sleeves feel tight on the plantain. I do find the neckline interesting. It's low and it's quite different from all the other tees. So it's plunging without being revealing. I don't feel like I'm putting anything on show, so that's not bad. But last time I wore them, Francesca was saying she wasn't a fan of the shape. It's slightly reminiscing of the Mandy in the way that it has the tight sleeves and the slightly baggier top. It's not as baggy as the Mandy boat tee, and it's not as tight on the sleeves. It's the toned down version, but it still has a little bit of that vibe of like tight and loose. And it's a style I gravitate towards a little bit less at the moment. So I think that's why the plantain, even though I made it a lot, can't go into my top tier option. And finally, on this middle tier, we have the Jess tee, and this one, to be honest, it almost went up. It's just that I had to restrict who was allowed in the top tier. But I really like this one. I think it has a really cool shape. I think it can be very versatile and look very different depending on what you make it in. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. The instructions were really good. I wrote that I enjoyed working with them. So not much to say about the Jess tee, maybe just that if you look at the line drawing, I got confused and ended up finding the crop a little bit more cropped than what I assumed, but in the end I've been wearing it with really high-waisted jeans and I've been feeling pretty cool wearing it. So honestly, Jess, it's just not making the cut because everyone can't win, but I really enjoyed this t-shirt. Okay, we are moving on the last category, the top tier, and I have sorted them still kind of from least to most favorite, but I like all of those. So let's get started. The last one in this favorite category is the Blondine. I really love the Blondine. I think it's a really cool shape. The reason why it's the bottom of the top tier is that I found the instruction a bit cramped, or the whole booklet is visually not really appealing and comfortable. The explanation for the neckline are not super clear to me. I didn't love those instructions, and it was a moment in my making where I just moved away from the instructions and decided to do my own thing. So I had to mention that I didn't love, but otherwise I felt like it was a really cool t-shirt. I really like the cuffs that you have on the sleeves. You cut it in one piece. It's a grown-on sleeve, so you also don't even have to set in a sleeve, which is always agreeable. The only thing is that I do find it a little bit oversized. I would size down next time I would make this one, but otherwise pretty impressed with the Blondine. Next is the core. And the core t-shirt for me is just the perfect basic t-shirt. It's not too tight, not too oversized, not too anything. I'm looking at it now, I'm like, this is a perfect t-shirt. It's the one I find the easiest to wear. I feel like you're not making a statement wearing it. So the core in my top tier, 100%. It's not first because it's so simple that at the same time it doesn't make a statement. Okay, the only negative I had in my note is that the technique to put the back reinforcement made no sense to me, and I read it in both English and French and understood it in none of the languages, and it's a technique I know So I was like, wow, to be able to make me not understand something I know how to use is quite something. But otherwise, I look at the photo, I'm like, yeah, perfect t-shirt. Really, really enjoy this one. My runner-up is the Hemlock Tee, and this one is a pattern I have loved for years now. I have made so many, and I think this t-shirt is really cool. It's really like oversized in a really relaxed way, but not too floppy. Like I don't like looking like it's so oversized that you look a bit like floppy and like you didn't try, but I find that it looks really cool. That's the word. When I wear my hemlock, I'm like, I'm a cool girl. Do I have anything bad to say about it? No, I love the instructions. I think they're simple, clean. I love the illustration. The one thing, but that's more from that brand in general, don't buy all of the fabric they tell you to buy. Maybe look at your pattern pieces first and measure how much fabric you need by yourself, because otherwise you're going to have a ton of leftover. That's kind of a negative. Like they always make you buy way too much, which is a bit of a shame. I understand saying a little bit more so that you have a margin and to make sure you don't run out of fabric, but here it's like really, really too much. So only note, but otherwise Hemlock, have loved it for a while and still love it now. Like great free t-shirt. And the number one is the Friday Battle top, and it has a sew along on YouTube, and the construction of the neck and hem was a little bit different for me. I tried it and loved it. It's a little bit of a tighter fit, but not too tight that everything's clinging on me and that I'm feeling exposed. I just felt like this pattern was beautiful, beautifully made. It comes together really nicely. With the sew along, you don't have to worry at any point about what's happening. I think that's a real added bonus to have this. I think it looks great, especially because my three other options in this top tier were oversized t-shirts. I really wanted to highlight this one, which is a little bit more form-fitting, so it fulfills a different need in your wardrobe than all of those oversized t-shirts. So for me, Friday Battle, if you are going to make only one, that's the number one for me. I feel that you can really make a beautiful neat garment using this free pattern. And that's it, guys. That is my ranking. Which one of those t-shirts was your favorite? Do you have a favorite free t-shirt pattern, or do you have a favorite paid t-shirt patterns? Is there any of the ones in this list that you haven't made but that you are curious to make? Please let me know in the comments. I would like to thank Janet for tipping me a monthly coffee. Thank you so much, Janet. It really means a lot to have your support. Don't forget that you can find the whole playlist about t-shirts in the description of this video. And if you are done with t-shirts but you are interested in shirts, I also have a series all about shirts, so you can go and watch that. Don't hesitate to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to come back for more, and don't forget that you can make anything. Bye! And actually, we are not finished with tees. So obviously I had already told you there's the tips video coming, but there are also more t-shirt patterns review coming. We are going to take a little bit of a break. First, I am happy to take a break from sewing t-shirts for a little bit. Also, we're going to talk about other things. There's more shirts coming our way. So different topics coming, but very soon we are going to talk about some paid t-shirt patterns, because I was finding it very interesting that so many of you also thought that yes, free patterns are great and we love a free pattern and it's great to start, but there are really good paid t-shirt patterns out there, and there's a couple I would like to highlight. And I will not say anything, but one of them is something you guys have recommended in the comments. Not saying anything more, I'm just putting it out there. I hear what you guys say and I take notes. So stay tuned for more t-shirts coming in the future on this channel. Say like and subscribe. Say like and subscribe. Milo says like and subscribe.